Hello, I'm Daniel. I am going to read a verse from this book, Trust in Mind, and I'm going to comment on it, and then I'm going to lead a short meditation practice. So, this is the verse. Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. Stop talking and thinking, and there is nothing you will not be able to know. Now, I want to be very careful about that because people think that meditation is stopping your mind, shutting it down so you're like a dead person or a statue or a sleeping person, right? And that's not really what meditation is. Meditation, rather, is learning how to be present with what's happening instead of being mentally somewhere else. So it's not that we're trying to stop all thoughts. We can't do that. It's that we are trying to control our attention and pay attention and be here instead of somewhere else, because a lot of the time in life we are somewhere else instead of here. So that line about stop thinking, that makes me a little bit nervous, but I will say this. I will say it's not stop thinking, but it's sort of learning how to manage our thinking. Learning how to manage the mental chatter that's going on all the time in our minds. It's learning how to manage that instead of just being out of control and just going from this to this to this. Some people call that monkey mind because it's like a monkey jumping to different branches and never stopping. I've never really liked the monkey mind description, but a lot of people like it. But it's your mind is like a crazy person and it goes all sorts of places without you telling it to. And sometimes we will have thoughts and not even know we're having them, and we're suddenly in a train of thought. So, in that sense, what this is about is there is freedom and awareness in silence. There's freedom and awareness in silence. So if we learn to just sit down and be quiet and do nothing and just be in a still situation for a little bit each day, we are going to learn things about ourselves and learn things about the world around us that will help us in our lives. Just a little bit of time each day, and we will learn about ourselves. And we will learn how to pay attention, because that's what this is really about. This is the path of training in attention. And some silence and some stillness in our lives really helps us a lot. So what we are doing is just taking the time to sit down and pay attention on purpose to what's happening, without judging, without trying to change what's happening, but just to pay attention to what's happening intentionally. Pay attention intentionally. That's the goal. That's our intention with all this. To pay attention on purpose so that we get better at paying attention. So we get better at paying attention. Some people call this mindfulness, and I think that's a good word for it. It's learning how to be here and have attention on the world around us instead of mentally being somewhere else. And that's, I always say, we should learn from the past and we should plan for the future, but we shouldn't live in the past or the future mentally. We should be living here, because here is where we have to face life as it is. Here. We have problems here, rather than just worrying about things in the future that may or may not happen, or obsessing over things in the past. There's this quote from Michael Jordan that I really like. Michael Jordan, the basketball player. He said, "Why would I think about a shot I haven't made yet?" Something like that. And what does that mean? It means he's getting ready to do a shot, and he's not thinking about how he's going to fail like the rest of us think that way. He's just thinking, why would I think about a shot I haven't made yet? I'm not thinking about it until I try to do it. And that is sort of a meditation attention lesson. we get obsessed about thinking about how we'll fail at things sometimes. And we think and think and think and think about what could go wrong. We really get caught up with that, and that doesn't serve us very well. It doesn't serve us very well. It takes away from our experience, from where we're trying to do, what we're trying to do, and where we're trying to be. So what we want to learn how to do is direct our attention at what's happening instead of somewhere else, instead of thinking about what we're doing later or what happened earlier. And this especially helps us in my opinion, especially helps us in relationships, because when someone's talking to us, we're listening instead of being somewhere else. So when my kid has something to show me, I'm actually, hopefully, looking at what my kid is trying to show me. And when my partner is telling me something, I'm hopefully looking at her and paying attention to what she's telling me. These are important things. These are important things. It may sound really little, but listening to the people around us is really important. It really helps us. Helps our relationships, helps our community, helps everything. Attention makes everything better. Attention makes everything better. And I've heard it said that even pain is made better by bringing attention to it. Because you bring attention to it, then you can sort of, by bringing attention to it, not be so caught up in it. So it's a thing that's happening and it's unpleasant, but we can tell ourselves, well, right now it's like this, what can I do? Right now it's like this, what can I do? So even bad things, we can transform them a little bit by paying attention to them. There are people with chronic pain conditions that report that meditation helps them a great deal. And I think that's true. I have a friend who has MS, and she says that, like, her body is uncomfortable and having problems all the time, and it's really meditation helps her sort of not get caught up in the problems of her body. It helps her just be present and feel like things are okay. And I think that's a very useful and powerful function of meditation. So we might think, well, I don't want to be in the present moment because it's unpleasant. But I think even the bad parts are made better by bringing attention to them. I really believe that. So that being said, we're going to do an open awareness meditation today. So I want you to sit up as straight as you can. And find a position where your legs will be reasonably comfortable and your feet won't fall asleep. But we want to sit up straight. We want to sit like we're paying attention to something. I've always found that if I start to slouch or I start to lean, I'm also not meditating anymore. I'm also not here. And I do an eyes open practice with this, so I'm fixing my attention on a wall up here. And if you have a blank wall like that, I think that's a great thing to do. And if you don't have a blank wall, I think also looking kind of downward at the floor is good. I don't recommend just staring at me. And with your hands, there's two different forms I recommend. One is I call it the bowl. It's one hand on top of the other, thumbs gently touching, resting in your lap. And the other form I recommend is called relaxation. That's just hands on your knees. I think both of those are very good. So, I am going to ring this bell, and then we're going to begin. And I want you to do the practice of open awareness. And for that, we'll begin by taking 3 deep breaths. And now what I want you to do is just be present and just pay attention to your experience. We are not going to try to change anything, but we're just going to be present with what's happening and just notice it. So I'm going to notice a crazy sound. I'm going to notice I'm listening. I'm going to notice I'm hearing something. But my goal is to not wonder, not chase a train of thought, not wonder, where's that sound coming from? Why is that happening right now? But rather just to notice I'm hearing. I'm hearing. And if I remember something from another time, I'm just going to notice remembering. And if I think of something that's going to happen in the future, I'm just going to notice thinking. And the goal is to not chase a train of thoughts, but just to notice what's happening and just be present with it. So in that way, we're not really trying to do anything. We are just being here. And every time something comes up to distract us, we're just going to name that distraction, thinking, feeling, hunger, boredom, whatever. We're just going to name that and then just go on being present. Present and quiet. And I am minding the time, so I will ring the bell at the end of the meditation. that is it for today. So I want to thank you for taking the time to do this meditation with me and for listening to my talk. Have a good day.